Hey, what's going on YouTube? What's happening? So, this is CC Talk yet again, coming through, stopping by to do yet another soap opera discussion video, this time over Y&R. And it's over Mel Young's tenure, not only as an executive producer, but most of all as a head writer. He started as a head writer, was it October, taking over Sally Sussman Marina in 2017, and we are now in May 2018. So now it's time to give him, or at least for me at least, give him a fair assessment of what I like and don't like on this show, and what I think he needs to prove upon with this show, if he so happens wants to continue having a job at Y&R. So let's start off with the positives for the show. First positive I will say is the unveiling of Ashley's fraternity that did happen. I think it was in November sweeps of 2017. That was a 30-some-odd year secret that needed to come out. I was glad that it came out, and we got a lot of great scenes from Eileen Davidson, who is an amazing actress, and she won an Emmy for that. So that's a big feather in his cap. He did really good with that, and that was the beginnings of his writing, where he started out hot like fire, in my opinion. Second thing I will say that I enjoyed was the breaking up of Sharon and Scott's relationship in early 2018, when Sharon found out Abbott was fucking her man and Scott had kept it a secret. They both were keeping it a secret. I enjoyed the unleashing of heroin Sharon. Not crazy Sharon, but heroin Sharon, where she pretty much got them both together. She slapped up Abby and she stomped on Scott's engagement ring, and he left town. So that was great for me. Next positive, I will say, I am liking the possibilities of Abby and Alejandro. Is that his name? The Latino, sexy, good-looking carpenter guy. Yes, I am loving that potential pairing. I think they look amazing. You can tell they are going to have some delicious sex scenes. If Mel writes it well, they are gonna have like crazy, out of this world, mind-blowing chemistry, love making, and they might be one of my favorite new couples in 2018. So I look forward to seeing more of that play out on the show. Next, I am loving new Kyle. I think new Kyle is gelling really well with the veteran Abbotts. I'm liking his connections with Ashley, Jack, Dina, Tracy, and Abby. My biggest problem, though, with Kyle and Abby needs to stop having sexual chemistry between each other, because they are first fucking cousins. Mel Young, you got to tell them two actors, bring down the sexual chemistry. Y'all are supposed to be family members on this show. Bring it the fuck down. Real talk. Like, no, I'm not liking that. So, I don't give a fuck if they are half cousins. Point of emphasis that they are family. And no, just do not do that. Please, get them actors together. Tell the directors, look, if they start to show on, like I said, when y'all are filming this shit, that they start to show that they are having sexual chemistry, you cut immediately and tell them straight up on that damn microphone, stop having sexual chemistry. For real. But I am liking the fact that Kyle is back into the fold at Jabot, and he's kind of being like the ace in the hole for Victor. But they do need to write better for Kyle, because he's like beating the horse in a little bit that he wants some sort of revenge against Jack, I guess, because Jack didn't really raise him, and then Diane is dead and whatnot, and I felt like he should have kept up the hate just a little bit longer with Nikki in that episode from Friday, which was the Mother's Day episode. I felt like he was upset in the beginnings, but then he quickly forgave her, and I was like, no, like, she killed your mom. It should have been a little bit longer than that, like at least about a good 6 months. Like every time he saw Nikki, he just like rolled his eyes, or he just didn't want anything to do with her, sort of thing. Like he didn't want to be in her presence. But overall, I think the actor is very good. He is a tiny bit green sometimes, but I am liking his energy that he's bringing to the Abbotts thus far. Next positive is the early beginnings. Now, y'all hear what I'm saying, right? The early beginnings of the PSA of Victoria and JT's domestic violence story. I really was happy that Mel Young took a risk in that, and he made this very powerful woman of a very powerful family in the Newmans, Victoria, become a domestic violence victim. And even though, yes, I understand people are very upset that it had to be JT to be the one to be the abuser, I like that he took that risk as a writer and as an EP to go ahead and do that. Because in my opinion, this is just my opinion, y'all can agree to disagree, I don't give a fuck. This is my opinion. JT was gone for 4 years, and during that time period when this whole thing went down in the beginnings, for him to be gone for like 4 or 5 years by that point, we don't know what really fucked his head up to where when he was first left town, when he settled in with Mac, and then he came back to Genoa City. Now, of course, when the second half of the story hit, it kind of unraveled why he became the way he became and why he was so violent towards Victoria. But I did like the beginnings of it, and in the era of the Me Too and Time's Up era, I thought that was very smart of Mel to actually take on a domestic violence storyline. And, Y&R has done, topical stories before, but they don't do them a lot because they're that glitzy, glamorous, sexy soap. So for them to take that time out and to do a domestic violence storyline with this particular central character in Victoria, I thought that was a smart thing to do. And again, I'm only bigging up the first half of the story. And last but not least, in terms of the positives, I am liking the return of Sharon and Nick. Back in the 80s, for a lot of people, Victor and Nikki were the super couple during that time period that made people swoon. When I became a teenager and was really deep into loving this show, Sharon and Nick were just it. They were adorable. They were sexy for their age, and not to mention, I just love the fact that people were against them because Sharon, I guess, was on the wrong side of the tracks, and Nikki didn't like her, which was silly to me because Nikki was, I guess you could say, for the wrong side of the tracks, but she had been so far removed from it that she didn't want that same kind of chick inside the Newman family being with her son. So I love that, and I just love their chemistry. It's like Sharon Case and Joshua Mora just have this amazing chemistry. And let's be real, I've loved Sharon and Nick with other people in their history, but when they come back together, it's just amazing. And let me just point out, Sharon Case, girlfriend, your body is amazing. Oh, your body is amazing. I need your workout plan because I just need to get on your workout plan because your body is fierce. It just looks so good. When I saw you in that bra and panties set, what was it, about a week or a week and a half ago, when you were standing in that living room and Nick saw it, I was like, damn, really? So, yes, big ups to Sharon Case on that. And I'm glad that they have rekindled. But the funny thing is that the rekindling is only coming because Sharon is keeping this deep, dark secret about JT. And she's trying to keep Nick distracted. And I like it because that's classic soap a lot of times. Like, you floss your sex appeal to somebody and then you get them in the bed to take their mind off of things. And since Nick has kind of always been kind of like a big, sexy slug a lot of times, you know, giving him some nookie can definitely help with that. But I don't know how many times she's gonna have to give him a nookie so he won't constantly be sniffing around and figuring out where JT is at. You know what I mean? But overall, I'm glad that they are rekindling. They still got that fire, and yeah, we'll see how that plays out more. Now, on to the negatives of this show. First negative I want to address is the obvious negative that caused controversy, and I still can't understand for the life of me why in daytime, when LGBTQ characters, couples are introduced or they start to develop chemistry, it still has a pearl clutching mentality with the general soap audience. I'm pretty sure the 4 to 4.5 million people that watch Y&R, which is still the lone soap of the 4 that refuses to tell an LGBTQ storyline, I'm pretty sure those 4 to 4.5 million people are watching primetime television. They're watching primetime television that does LGBTQ stories way more better than daytime ever would. But for whatever reason, Y&R stays the lone fucking soap, pearl clutched with bigots who do not want to see LGBTQ people on this show. Why is that? It's just ridiculous to me, and I am not here for it. I'm not down for it. I hate it. Mariah and Tessa could have been a great couple going into 2018 and could have been one of the best couples on the show as well as in daytime. But Y&R, CBS seems like they got scared yet again to tell an LGBTQ storyline. And I'm sorry. Once again, I'm going to keep saying it. It's 2018. If that small percentage of bigots that is still watching the show, and I'm talking about a small percentage. It's not everybody within that 4 to 4.5 million viewers that watches the show week by week. But the small percentage that pearl clutches and do not like seeing LGBTQ stories, if they are going to be the way they are and say like, oh, I'm not going to watch this show because y'all got some lesbians on there kissing, loving, and fucking, let them be mad. I don't understand like why there's this approach where everything has to be so pearl clutching. But damn it, oh yeah, we could have incest storylines. We could have, you know, first cousins and third cousins fucking each other and having babies, and rape manses and switched at births and evil twins and doppelgangers. But damn it, if you have LGBTQ storylines, oh, that just grinds the gears of a section of the audience of these 4 soaps, and it's crazy. It's really crazy. So I'm very disappointed that, you know, again, from Mel Young to CBS, you know, they just totally just did not want to take this on. And that young lady, Cam Grimes, won a fucking Emmy for it. She won an Emmy for it. That's telling you, like, yeah, her performance was riveting and moving enough. She won a damn Emmy over her portrayal of a young Mariah being in love with another woman. And unfortunately, whatever reason, they are having a deja vu moment, just like with I just know. And I just feel like LGBTQ storylines are still being scapegoated for why the ratings go down. And that is not the reason. So, Neil Young, you bring back Kyle Abbott. Great move. He's a young man. We need to start building up these young families. But why did you cut Noah Newman? And who are both, I love Victor, Nikki, Ashley, and Jack, and the rest of them. But let's be real. There ain't no spring chickens. This show is called The What? The Young and the Restless. And it's time, Mel Young, to focus on bringing in the next generation of Newmans, Abbotts, Winters. My drift? Yes. Is 18 to 49 and 25 to 54 still on lock for this show? Sure it is. But they could be a hell of a lot higher if you bring on those characters from those core families and pit them against one another, along with doing the business aspect mixed with the romance. Hell, Noah and Kyle would be a hot young Victor versus Jack. Only difference I would change, instead of Noah being the victor, I would have Kyle being the victor, and I would have Noah being the Jack. You feels me? I would have had something like that. And then you put the women that could be their love interest in the middle. And then you mix up the business ties with it. I would prefer, new young women. But I don't mind the possibilities of Hillary and Kyle, being friends with benefits and tearing up the town. I'm going to get to that when I talk about Havon in a few. But yeah, it's time for Y&R to really get to thinking about building up their young adult set. I feel like Y&R at the worst bringing on these young people, and then you throw them away, or you put in these awful actors to play these core young characters to these, famous families on the show, and then you have to scrap them and send them away. And again, Robert Addison would have tore it up. He is a very good actor, but they didn't want to write for him, so he had to bounce. He had to go. Then JT Hellstrom and Victoria Newman's son. Why did we get rid of Reed Hellstrom? For what? His mother is going through a traumatic time of being a victim of domestic violence. He doesn't know where his father is. He was in a young love romance with Maddie Ashbury, and we send him to a music boarding school. Seriously, Mel Young? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me, man. That doesn't make any sense, and that's just dumb. So you can't, again, Y&R as well as, CBS cannot keep avoiding this. You gotta bring on that new generation of Newmans, Abbotts. You gotta start doing that, because again, the 4 people I've mentioned that are veterans that I love the most, that have been carrying stories since the 80s, they're not spring chickens anymore. They're not. I mean, we like to think that they are as a fandom, but they're not. So you got to start building up that young set. Now, let's get to Havon. I'm tired of prick-ass Devon. I really am. He is becoming Liam Cooper Spencer-esque. I've recognized the last several months how he's been talking to Hillary, treating her like shit, but then in one breath he's like, oh, we can have a baby together and whatnot. No, I love Havon just like a lot of Havon fans do, but I'm sorry, I don't want Havon having a baby together and he can't accept her for being who she is. It's not like Devon doesn't know how Hillary is. He knew that when she dropped her drawers to him and they had sex and she was still married to Neil. So this is nothing new. So why on earthly hell is Devon trying to go out of his way to change Hillary? Because this is the shit that happened to Steffi over there on Bald and Beautiful. Bad bitch Steffi. But this is what Devon is doing to Hillary. He's trying to literally change her into something that he wants. And no, I don't want Hillary to change herself for no motherfucking man. Yes, can you have tiny bits of growth every once in a while? Sure. Throughout a character's history. But I don't want her to totally lose that scheming, bitch, snarky, shady characteristic about herself. Like, no. You either accept Hillary for being who she is or you bounce. And as for Hillary, I'm tired of her having baby rabies. This is not even a well-written baby rabies for me, because this is reminding me so much of, again, going back to days with, you know, Nicole Walker having baby rabies. I don't understand, like, why the sexy bad bitch vixens have to have baby rabies, and they go through all of this bullshit to try to conceive, and then they can't conceive, and then they're an emotional wreck because of it. No. No, 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 no. No. I mean, would I like Hillary to have a child someday? And especially if she has a child by Devon? Absolutely. But I feel like the timing is not right. Devon is acting like, again, a total douchebag. And I'm not here for it. I'm not here for it. No, I'm not here for that. And not to mention, you know, again, I don't want Hillary to lose her, again, her scheming, conniving bitchness about herself. So for me, if she could link up with Kyle, not necessarily be in a relationship, but if she could have her friends with benefits moments with Kyle, and they could tear up the town together, oh, that would be some hot ass stuff. They could be that new gruesome twosome in town. I would be here for that. Because those two people, when they first had their scenes together 2 weeks ago, they had a little chemistry. A little bit of that chemistry. So I'm hoping that's where Mel Young is taking those two. But, yeah, I'm just over Havon at the moment. Until Mel Young could write Devon better and have Devon accept Hillary for being who she is, I can't fully root for Havon at the moment, because it's just, no, I can't do it. Next story I want to talk about is Dina and Jack, which is a negative. Yes. Have I been liking Marla Adams' acting throughout this catastrophe, having the Alzheimer's and stuff? Sure. But I feel like Mel Young is writing a very poorly written version of Alzheimer's. And it's making Dina Margion into this 2-bit villain, because now Jack's fraternity is in question. Yes, Jack Abbott, 60-something-year-old Jack Abbott's fraternity is in question. And yes, can this happen in real life, where a 50 to about 60-something-year-old person find out later in life that, you know, their daddy is not their daddy? Sure, I'm pretty sure there are some people that go through that as of today. But I'm sorry, I don't want to see this with Jack at all. I just don't. You know, because this family already has, you know, Ashley as a non-Abbott. Why do we need Jack to be a non-Abbott? I'm scared Tracy's not going to be a non-Abbott, and Billy's going to be the only Abbott left, because he is the son of John and Jill. Because Dina was such a hoe, she slept with most of Genoa City. So for me, I'm like, no, let's stop retconning this family. This is ridiculous and dumb. No, I'm over it. It is time out, Mel Young. Stop it. Keep Jack as John Abbott's son and move on to other story, because I don't want to see this. I don't want to see it. Yes, it's Peter Bergman gonna knock it out of the park, and he's gonna give some, avant-garde acting, absolutely. But I don't want to see it, because I am so attached to Jack and John's father-son relationship and that connection there as it pertains to the business and the family aspect. I don't want to see this. And a lot of fans echo what I'm saying. No. Now, if you would have told me Kyle was going through another retcon fraternity, I probably would have been mad, but I would have been okay with it because Kyle is still in his 20s, and that makes sense. But Jack is 60-something years old, trying to figure out if his daddy is not his daddy. No. I'm sorry, Mel Young. Again, these shows want to blame the gays and the lesbians for ratings declining, but this type of shit right here will have your ratings declining and possibly have you getting a soon-to-be pink slip. Send Dina Marchion to the home, like they say on the Golden Girls with Sophia, when Sophia Petrillo gets scared when she hears Dorothy saying, the home. Let's send Dina to the home and be done with her. I love Marla Adams, but her story is now just too goofy for words, and it's time to go. It's time to go. Alright, last but not least is the Big Little Lies story with who killed, well, not even who killed, but JT being murdered. Look, for me, again, I go back to my positives. The first positive of the story was good. I like that development of Victoria being abused and, you know, having her go through being the victim and blah, blah, blah. It was good in the first beginnings of the storyline. But now, just like the Dina Marchion Jack storyline, it's ridiculous. It's over the top. It's goofy as hell. And the only thing that's saving it is the acting. Amelia Hadley is giving some of her best acting that she has ever on this show. So she's doing the damn thing. I'm loving Gina Tognoni channeling Michelle Stafford in this storyline because she's playing it up like how Michelle Stafford would play it. So I'm loving the comedical, scheming, bitchy side of Phyllis in this storyline. I like that Nikki is standing by Victoria and being strong for her, but then the minute Victoria leaves for town, she's crumbling and breaking, and she has to be consoled by Sharon. I like that Sharon is being like the dove and she can't hold the secret together, but then Phyllis has to come in and say, look here, bitch, you gonna keep this damn secret because I ain't going to prison for you three hoes. So I feel like that the acting is saving it, but the story is just so over the top and silly. The fact that JT's body is buried at K vegetable manure because that's what they want to do. They want to plant vegetables on top of his grave at that damn K Chancellor Memorial. And I'm just like, the fuck? Like, it's gonna take about a couple of good, hard, rainy days before his body start to come up. Like, it's just, it's silly. It's ridiculous. And I don't care if Mel Young says, like, oh, this is a story about, you know, violence against women. No. And they buried that body at that damn park. So, and now it's just plodding along till we finally get to the trial. And I'm hoping that the trial saves the story. But I just need for this story to end too, because it's just, it's too much. It's too much. It's lost its punch. And let them women get off on a technicality and let everybody just be mad as hell that those women got off on a technicality. Get them a powerful, each one of them get a powerful lawyer, and they both get off on a technicality, and boom, you know, and then they have to live with that sin forever and a day. But the remaining bits of the story, I'm over it. I'm done with it. So let's keep it pushing, because this story is just really grating at my nerves now, and it's just no. So anyways, that's all I have. I still have, like, again, I would say it's about 50-50 right now in terms of positives and negatives on this show. But Mel Young, if you don't get these storylines together, I saw this previous week's ratings. you keep letting this show slip, you won't have a job by the end of the year, because Y&R is one of the few soaps where they have a high turnover rate in terms of head writers. So if you fuck up within your year's time, you will be gone as a head and as an executive producer. So it wouldn't be shocking if by possibly the end of summer, if your storylines don't start getting better and start, you know, hitting its stride and wooing people like you did with the Ashley stuff and the Sharon stuff, you will be looking for some new employment, real talk, because this is just, I don't get it. I don't understand this show. It gets itself together, and I hope Mel Young gets some sort of, I don't know, course correction, or, you know, people within that writing room gives him some tips to do better by the writing, because right now I'm just not seeing how Mel Young was so critically acclaimed on EastEnders, but on Y&R he's pretty much as a hack, you know, and I don't know. I'm just not feeling it. Anyways, feel free to rate, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think, and I'll hit y'all up later. Peace for now. Bye.